Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, the STC number 129, your weekly dose of all things StarCraft, your weekly dose of Tuna Cup action. We are back with a very special edition. Once again, we have returned with the TLMC 22 edition of TLMC for the second week in a row, papi. 2 weeks in a row. A very different set of maps. Let's go. Let's jump on in. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Wave Breaker, we have the blue Terran player. We have the American Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Defiance. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have we have the yeah, we're gonna restart. Well, we have the red Zerg, SortOf. We're gonna restart there. guys, are we gonna SMH my head. We are going to restart there, but again, welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. This is our weekly open tournament here, where we do feature players from all around the world, from the Americas, from Korea as well. Of course, SortOf is living in South Korea. If he were in Europe, then US East would make sense, bearing in mind that Defiance is from the Americas, so US versus Korea should be on US West. At least that is if Defiance is living in the Americas. But it's all good. It is all good. We're jumping on in. And again, game one is going to be a Wave Breaker. There's a lot to get into when it comes to the new map pool. We'll get there. Don't you worry. We will get there. But again, we do have a fresh map pool ready for you here tonight. Last week we featured different maps. Bear that in mind. This week we have a fresh set. So we're going to be featuring Defender's Lab, Exarch, Fear and Faith, Rainfall, Sanctuary, Storm Surge, Void Storm, Washout, and Wave Breaker. Oh boy. Here we go. So again, plenty of maps, plenty to pick between. As we're just making our lobby, setting things up, beautiful. Getting back into Wave Breaker. Likewise, the bracket is huge. I appreciate it. We've been getting a lot of support from the player base, at least. A lot of support, a lot of signups from all around as well. A lot of support from all around. So again, once again, we do have a massive amount of signs. We have a round of 32 match. Bear that in mind. And predictions will open up once we get into the game itself. We'll get there. Don't you worry. Jumping in. Solid side. True. It's all good. Just sorting out the title. Beautiful. And spawning in the top right corner of Wave Breaker, we have the blue Terran player, himself. We have the American Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Defiance. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the Swedish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg. It is SortOf. Let's go. Let us go. We are jumping into our fresh series, jumping into our best of 3. Oh boy, and welcome to Wave Breaker again, one of the other newer TLMC 22 maps in the map pool, and this is one of the more unorthodox maps as well. I'll be honest, we have our main base, we have our forward natural, a very open natural as well, bear that in mind, very open. I would argue maybe a little bit too open. I don't know if it's quite necessary to have the natural base like this accessible. That is one of my critiques for Wave Breaker, bear that in mind. But very open, can be opened up even further by knocking down these rocks. Meanwhile, we do have our triangular linear expansions here. We have our linear third base, we have our triangular third as well. We have our third base locations, which are also on the low ground, also a little bit more accessible, and we have a very direct path across the map, assisted by speed zones. Speed zones are all over the place. But before I get ahead of myself, if you're in the chat, it is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Coming into this SortOf is the favorite player. Defiance is coming in as more of an amateur up-and-comer. Best of luck to Defiance. We'll see what he brings to the table. Oh boy. We'll see what he brings. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Monster NG for sponsoring alongside Shopify. God, I tried to pan to the Shopify logo. Hold on, we'll try again. Ha! There's nothing there. Where's the Shopify? Where's the Shopify? Where's it? We're surrounded by Monster. Wait, do we have the monster side and do we have the Shopify side? Bam! Where's the... no. Wait, what? It's just Monster Energy everywhere. Are we... Well, we'll look for it. But again, sponsored by, Jesus, Monster Energy there as well. We're surrounded by Monster, Pappy. But there should be an equivalent even there. There should be an equivalent amount of Shopify logos as well, as both of them are sponsoring the event. Huh. Interesting. Oh, there it is. Jesus, I knew it was somewhere. This map a little bit monster heavy, as there were monster logos all over the place, and finally we find the Shopify logo off to the side. There it is, alongside Monster. But big shout out. Big shout out to Shopify, big shout out to Monster for sponsoring and for funding the TLMC for the season. True. Should I see the other logo somewhere? I mean, it's usually there. It's usually like 50-50 in the main, but specifically on this map, it's, at least so far, this is the only Shopify logo I found. It's the only one. Monsters on the map. Is this Warcraft 3? No. I mean, there is a Warcraft 3 map in the TLMC 22 map pool as well. There would have been two of them. I mean, so fun fact as well, as we get into our game so far, we have our openers. It is going to be 1-1-1. Aggressive ability by Defiance, going for a delayed third CC. Meanwhile, Hatch Gas spawned to a third base for SortOf. So Defiance is being more aggressive. Bear that in mind, and the aggression is coming online momentarily. But very quickly, the TLMC judge sheets are finally public. We've been waiting. I don't know if you notice our schedule, but like every couple of days we have like a TLMC finalist stream scheduled, and we have to push it back every other day. Finally, we're locked in tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be live with the TLMC 22 judge sheet, like finalist broadcast, where we're going to go through all of these maps and go through all the feedback of every single judge, myself included, to see if we, if we change our opinions, if we learn something, how our opinions differ from other judges, and of course, how all the maps came together as one when it comes to the top 16. So looking forward to that, and I'm curious to see what Silvermoon got, because if you remember, there was another map, another Warcraft 3 map, or Warcraft map, Silvermoon was also in the TLMC 22, but it didn't make it into the top 16. I'm curious where it landed. We'll find out together tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow during the TLMC stream. We'll get there. For now, it is going to be Lair first. Lair first out of SortOf. Lair before Eva Chamber, before Baneliness. Meanwhile, Hellions, they attempt to go for a dive here, but SortOf is in position. So far, he does react in time. Does come in for this round. Ooh, and he locks him down. Wow, he locks down all four Hellions. Aye. 3 Hellions falling. 1 Hellion barely does get away. And remember, behind this, we're committed. We're making even more Hellions. This third CC is late for Defiance, and so far, it's not been worth it. It's not been worth it. That's half the Hellion count being reset. We have more Hellions on the way. SortOf, he now confirms the high Hellion count, by the way. Yeah, SortOf now confirms how aggressive this was. This could have been the setup for a Hellbat push. There is no armory, not anymore. I mean, now that the Hellion count was reset, now it's kind of less incentivized to go for the armory, but we're still making more Hellions, and hey, there it is. There is that armory behind the main base mineral line. That's a bit of a shame. So we're going for the armory. Looks like we're going into mech. Second star port for Mass Banshee, maybe even BC behind this as well. This armory and the Hellbats could have hit really strong, but remember, 4 Hellions just were killed. 4 Hellions just got surrounded. Those 4 Hellions could have made for 4 extra Hellbats with this Hellbat push. So this is a significantly weaker push here from Defiance. It is weaker, has been softened up. Baneliness is done, the Queens are pushing forward, and remember, SortOf, he did scout the high Hellion count, so he knows. He's aware of the threat of a Hellbat push. Here comes the army. Banelings have yet to morph in. As Lings are opening up the map, setting up first round. There's also unique terrain here. You can knock down these rocks to open up the map a little bit further, and we are going into Hyperfly Raiders. Cloak and Hyperfly Raiders into double Banshee production. No BCs yet, no Fusion Core, of course. Same time, +1 ship weapons also on the way. Oh, Hellions, they look for a way in. The speed zones do allow for somewhat faster rotations back and forth, but for the most part, SortOf, he's maintained his economy. That's what's scary here. The economy has been more or less untouched. Now, what's interesting is that SortOf did not throw down the Bailey Nest. He's fully aware that it is going to be mech, but so far sticking with purely Ling Queen or Ling Bane Queen. Lings, Bailings, and Queens. No roaches. This is greedy from SortOf. It is greedy. We'll see if he gets away with it. Scan into the main, confirms that the hive is on the way. Fast hive into fast ultras. That should be the plan. I mean, that is going to be a big power spike here, but we'll see what Defiance can get done. We're still, I think, banking up all those Banshees. Yeah, they're banking up back at home. There's no Overseer in the main. SortOf sees everything. He confirms the double Banshee production. He knows. We should be seeing a Spire reaction. There's the Roach Warren. Roach Warren will help against the mech. But anti-air is still limited to Queens. Still very limited. You can see SortOf trying out position. 30C is exposed. Bailing's ready for the deception. Oh no! No, the Hellions! No! Oh my god! Massive connections. Hellions go down. And with that, the SortOf he does wreak havoc. 11 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. The Max Banshee is revealed. We do have Infestor to help support, but again, still no Spire, still limited anti-air. How many Banshees do we have? We have 7 so far. 7 Banshees. How many Queens? 11. With Transfuse, the Queens should be able to hold their own alongside Infestor support. Infestors are going to be a big part of this though. Speaking of, oh, the Fungal lands. Yeah, Fungal does land. The Banelings, they smash in. Ooh, Hellbats are going to be completely shut down. And it's all about the Queens. It's all about the Queens. And so far they hold their own. They do Transfuse. That's already 4 Banshees going down. 3 Banshees left. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, that was it. That was the army, by the way. That was the entire army. Defiance bleeding out to most of his Banshees and losing the entirety of the Hellbat army. And now we're desperately trying to switch things up. We're now going into Thor production. No battle mech here. I mean, there's just no economy. We lost all those SCVs earlier. Lings here for the counterattack, and there's nothing to defend. There's 1 Hellion. There's 1 Hellion, 1 Widowmine, and 2 Banshees. And a dream. Yeah, not like this. 11, 12 SCVs going down. Mine shot even forcing with a friendly fire. More Lings spotting in. And again, if you recall, I did believe it was quite greedy for SortOf to delay Roach production for so long, but it was only Hellion. It was only Hellion Banshee. There was no Cyclone support. There was no other kind of backbone to the army, of course. The army got caught out. I mean, it was just a really rough start as well. To lose those first 4 Hellions to weaken the first push was quite brutal. It allowed SortOf to get up to 70 drones quite quickly to secure his side of the map. So the economy has just been lacking for Defiance this entire game. And didn't quite make up for it. The pressure was on Defiance to deal some equivalent economic damage, but it wasn't quite there. Banshees, they move in. Queen's in position. So far they do Transfuse. Means they hold their own. Holding their own. Power bombs are zoning back the Banshees. Gonna be zoned away. Oh, the Wilds! Oh my god, catching out all 3. Dark, is that you? Esther, Dark. Catching out all 3 Banshees at the same time. Massive Ling right into the main. The wall was open. Lings they flood in. They distract the Hellies. They distract the tanks. At the same time, the main army does hit the 3rd. And once again, SCVs, they will not get away. That's 15 SCV kills. Tanks falling. And Defiance just cannot secure his bases. That's a kill on the command center as well. Defiance knocked down to 2 bases. And just never going to handle things, never got a foothold. Vile's going to be connecting. Army zoned away. We even have Lings barred inside the main. No. Not like this, Pappy, not like this. Oh my god. As with that, looks like the final army is going to be cleaned up, catching up with the tanks, the Hellions, the Thors. GG gets called, and SortOf will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a unique style here from Defiance, going for his own unique form of mech, going Hellion into double starport mass Banshee. Had potential, especially if it went unscouted, but as we saw, it was scouted, right? SortOf, he got into the main base, he was able to confirm the mass Banshee. Even before that, SortOf was able to catch the first wave of Hellions as well, hindering the momentum and hindering the follow-up from Defiance, right? Defiance, he wasn't able to get that momentum, get early game damage. Remember, Defiance went for an early 1-1-1, went for a late third TC. He had to get some damage done to be able to afford that, to be able to justify that, and wasn't quite able to do so. Wasn't quite able to. GG, well played. And with that, SortOf does take a lead in the series. We'll see if Defiance can bring it back coming into game number 2. Let's go. Going to be loading into at Eternity's Edge. Let's go. Let us go. Okay, beautiful. As we're now getting into our next game, it's game number 2 here of our series, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of at Eternity's Edge, we have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran, we have the American Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Defiance. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Swedish Zerg player, the red Zerg living in South Korea. It is SortOf. We go. And welcome one and all to at Eternity's Edge. This is an interesting map, might I say. It is a relatively large map. We do have some wider areas here. We have a lot of expansions. We have some gold bases. We have some high yield gas expansions as well. We have speed zones. We have all of this, all these bases here on the edges. True. At Eternity's Edge, and a lot of the complications or a lot of the complexity does lie in those edges of the map. But my concern here is the rush distance by ground. But will that come into play here? We'll see. Defiance, he's already showcased a form of mech, and we'll see if we see more mech out of Defiance. We have something similar, something different, BCs, battle mech, traditional mech. We'll see how Defiance does mix things up. What I will say is that there is potential to, I don't know, I was going to say potential to try to expand in a more defensive fashion and then work towards the gold, but this low ground area is relatively open, so pushing towards that gold base as a defending and turtling Terran player is going to be difficult. I do think there's a lot of value when it comes to expanding towards SortOf in a more aggressive manner, pushing forward with this forward third base into the forward fourth base with a high yield gas, and then pushing across the map. There's a lot of strength in that, I feel, but we'll see what Defiance goes for. We shall see. As now, we are going to be maneuvering. Our initial openers here. From here, just racks expand into factory, standard follow-up here at the Defiance. Meanwhile, across the map, SortOf going for his own hatch gas pool. Everything's looking normal, everything's looking as it should. So far, so good. From here, Defiance does pick in, does scout and confirm the standard opener. Once again, it is going to be a 1-1-1 out of Defiance. So once again, the pressure's on Defiance to get damage done. Defiance is delaying his own third, so he's putting himself behind economically. So Defiance going for a much more aggressive start. Last game, this led into Mass Hellion, Banshee. But we saw that Defiance was caught out early, and his Hellion count was cut in half early on, and that took the wind out of the sails of Defiance's early to mid game out of his aggression. So this time we're going to be that much more careful with those Hellions. Got to be careful. Got to be that much more attentive. Meanwhile, there's the add-on swap going into Banshee play. No fusion core. Just Cloak Banshee. Do we go for the same build? Curious. I mean, there is like truth in the idea that Defiance could have definitely tightened up his play in game 1 and have a bit of a crisper build overall. But I'm not too fond of the idea, especially because this build was very unique and very quirky. I'm not too fond of the idea of relying on it multiple times in the series. Not too fond of it, but we'll see. Overlord does confirm the 1-1-1.
Under attack.
Confirms the lack of CC. Meanwhile, shout out to Nova. Shout out to... Oh no. The movie's back. Aye, aye, aye. They're enjoying themselves. Oh, and we do have a different follow-up this side to enjoy. So 1-1-1, we reveal the 1-1-1 setup and the early Cloak Banshee into a bio follow-up this time into 3-1-1 Mass Marine. So Stim is on the way, Combat Shields into a Mass bio follow-up. In my mind, actually went for the add-on swap. I was going to say this could lead into a Hellbat push, but there was an add-on swap, so no additional Hellion production, tank production instead. Now, what is crucial, I feel, for Defiance, this is a 2-base all-in, by the way, where it's just committing and doubling down on 2 bases. But what is crucial here is denying the Overlord Scout. SortOf, we have to make sure we don't really reveal our hand, and that SortOf is left in the dark here. For now, safety Roach Warren. Again, against Mech, I do feel like this Roach play is safer. So SortOf, he's already setting up for a more defensive army against a mass battle Mech kind of style. Remember, SortOf has incomplete information. He's only seen the initial opener. He's only seen the opener. Hellions, they poke in. They pull away. SortOf taking that triangular third. Pushing forward with all that creep. Let's push forward. Well, now we're rotating around. Clearing up at least some of that creep as well, keeping an eye on SortOf. Behind this, we're still building up the army, and we need to commit soon. We're gonna have what, 2 tanks, Stim, Combat Shield still a ways away, so we might get a 3rd tank. But remember, the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be for Defiance. And SortOf, he's not over droning. No, I say that, he's droning up to 70. Getting up to 70 workers, Banshees to hit the main. Drone's going to be going down, getting 1 drone so far. Oh no, the Banshees, no, David. Yeah, they're left behind. Oof, and both Banshees do fall. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, not like this. SortOf, he defends well. He cuts workers here at 17. He's massing up his own Roach army. Massing up Roaches, massing up Lings. Now taking up, and I feel like this is hitting a bit too late here. 3rd CC is on the way, but again, this is an afterthought. It's a very late 3rd. SortOf is all in. Well, there's not really that much to work with, considering the fact that SortOf, I mean, he's already building up his Roach Ravager. Like, he's already done droning. I would say the initial Hellion Banshee harass didn't really achieve too much. Killed only 1 drone. Right? Yeah, only 1 drone. Queen goes down. Roach as they move in. The Biles catching up one of the tanks. Yeah, 1 tank already falls. There's only 1 tank left. Remember, the tanks are the backbone of this army. And down to 1. Second tank does reinforce. Biles coming in once again, catching at the other tank. No! Another tank falls, the other is exposed, and with that, Defiance will lose the entire army here in the center. Ay, ay, ay. Gets completely cleaned up, and SortOf commits. And this is the downside of forcing SortOf to go into Roach play. After game 1, here in game 2, we saw early Roaches into a safer start in a Mass Roach Ravager. A very robust army, which doesn't scale well into a longer game, but it's not a long game. It was a 2-base all-in. So SortOf feels perfectly safe. Now collapsing on the army. And with that, SortOf, he overwhelms. He overwhelms the army, breaks through the tank line. GG gets called, and SortOf, he will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. SortOf, he will claim the series. He will advance on. Shout out to Defiance. Shout out to Defiance here for competing, for taking part. Interesting builds here at Defiance. I do like that he went from one build to the other, from game 1 and game 2. I do appreciate that. Unfortunately, because of the setup and because of what occurred in the first game, he did force a reaction out of SortOf, right? SortOf, he saw the 1-1-1. He went for a safety roach one in case it was mech again. It wasn't mech, it was buyer, so there was that nice switch. But despite that, it was still a 2-base all-in out of Defiance. And SortOf, due to the experiences in the first game, did decide to take him in a safer direction. If it was purely Ling Bane, there was a higher chance of maybe breaking through and getting some ground. But against Roach Ravager, SortOf had a very robust army, a very safe army, more than happy to engage, more than happy to fight. A kind of army that doesn't scale well into a macro game, but again, this was not a macro game. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. SortOf, who does advance on. Shout out to Defiance for taking part, especially because Defiance is from the Americas. What I mean by that is right now is a really early, I believe, very early on, depending on where you are, of course, in the Americas, but it's not an ideal time zone or time slot for the Americas region, or even for the Latin American region as well. So if we get players from the Americas, whether it's Latino America or North America, we appreciate it. Always do appreciate it. Get some rest, man. You get some rest. Thank you so much for competing, and take care. Take care. We do appreciate it. As that leads us into the round of 16. Exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. Let's go. Let's jump on in. We have plenty to jump into, plenty to catch